different
An
journey.
evolution, like
Yeah.
we've evolved in so many ways.
Yeah.
Like you talk about spiritually speaking, like
Yeah.
boy, oh boy, have we evolved so much. I mean, if
Right.
we had time to share,
That's
like when
another
we
segment.
we went to, we went to a church called Overcoming Faith World Outreach Center.
Yeah.
Just take that in for a few minutes, and the prosperity gospel and the healing gospel. We went through all of that, and again,
Yeah.
you, God bless you, kind of following me
Yeah, that's true.
into some of those cul-de-sac, as we say in French.
Mhm.
But we end up making. And so here's the thing: this we were supposed to be talking about black love, right?
Well, we're black and we
Yeah,
love each other.
exactly. So
So
the
there you go.
idea that celebrating in February Black History Month, and highlighting relationships, black
Yeah.
love. So first of all, to say that when we say Black Lives Matter, we are saying that there is a culture that around people who are people of color, in this case, black folks who are actually brown. Um, that there is a culture that was kind of forced upon us from having to develop, to evolve, uh, um, to survive underneath oppression. So
Mm-hmm.
you could say that the oppression mandated that there be a thing called black love.
Mm.
Somebody would say, well, why do we have to talk about black? Why can't we just talk? Well, all lives matter, yes, but black love is a thing because of oppression.
Yeah, and it's also a thing that we don't see depicted a lot. It's
Right,
better,
right,
but you don't really see that a whole lot.
right,
As I
right.
say, it's getting better,
Yeah,
and thank God that we and other couples, other people have been an example
mm-hmm,
for, a lot of young
yeah,
people,
right,
and so there's your black love right there. I could think,
right,
we have dear friends. He is
mm-hmm,
critically ill,
right,
and they're probably a little bit older than we
yeah,
are, but not much. He's a saxophone player,
mm-hmm,
and they've been through a lot.
mm-hmm,
I mean, even before he was critically ill, it was.
right,
I felt like if you opened up the dictionary and looked up the word wife, her picture would be there
yes,
because they've
yes,
been through so much and so many changes. And so they're still together. That's my
yeah,
point. He cannot speak, he cannot move,
mm-hmm,
he can't do anything. It's early onset dementia, and they're still together,
yeah,
and she's still there,
yeah,
for him. And so that's one of the epitomes
mm-hmm,
of black love. It is of love,
yeah,
of two people who happen to be black. I think maybe sometimes we used to see that a
mm-hmm,
lot more. We can give examples,
yeah,
Bobby and Virginia
yeah, yeah.
Anderson, the Glovers.
Yeah, yeah. We're talking
These
about
are people,
folks,
yeah,
yeah,
they're
who would be in their
deceased.
90s now if,
Right, right, right. And
they
they're
were all still
deceased
here.
that just, and I know it wasn't easy because I'm married,
Right, right.
but they stayed together till the end,
And the oppression and the
Yeah, stuff we
systemic,
don't have to deal with.
right, systemic
Yeah,
racism that we talk about now, they had it in spades. Like it
right,
was so much worse for them, but
right,
they made it.
right, right.
And I guess, since we don't have all the time, this is absolutely going to be a few episodes, and that's fine with me. We're going to break this up into bite-sized episodes. But, the fact that, we can talk about black love in a context where your dad was white,
Right, right.
my grandfather's white.
Yeah.
Our kids, to a one, except for our oldest, are all married to white people.
Yeah.
And so our grandkids are not quote unquote black.
Right.
From what is that, by the way?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
that's a social construct, but man, it's still important right now for us to emphasize our, say success, and we couch that in God's grace.
Yeah.
It's grace.
Yeah.
But we can celebrate our success as in black love,
Yeah. And you want to be an example,
Yeah.
of black love, of love, your brother's church has a marriage, what do you call it? Ministry.
Yeah, Kenneth Whalum Jr.,
Yeah,
the New
yeah,
Olivet
yeah.
Worship Center.
Right. That I think is a really good, vital part of their church, because they have a lot of young people
Yeah.
at their church. And so to look up and see this black love, I mean,
Yes.
it is worth celebrating.
We're
It's
celebrating. And they've been
worthy of
together.
being celebrated.
We've been together married 41 years. They've been married probably
40, maybe.
38, 39,
38,
something like
yeah,
that.
something like that.
It's formidable,
Right. And having said that as well, if we're honest, neither of us had the 100% examples. My parents got to a point,
Yeah.
and then that was over.
Yeah.
And my story is complicated, and
Yeah,
we're not
yeah,
going to
yeah.
get into
Right.
any of that. But there still was love, though. I still have memories,
Yeah.
good memories of things, as do you.
Yeah.
Both of your parents were, your mom
Yeah.
still is.
Yeah, my stepdad. So
Yeah.
my confidant.
Yeah.
You could say the person that I look to
Yeah.
as a man.
Yeah.
Is my stepdad.
Right.
But you're right. My dad, who passed away, and my mom, divorced, and so you could say, well, there's an example where it just didn't work out. But in a sense, you say, man, good on them for having made it, as long as they did,
Right.
in the context of
Right.
this country in particular, what it means to
Yes.
be a black person. Woo, Jesus.
I think in a black man,
Yeah.
I mean, the black woman thing brings a lot of other things.
Right.
And I think especially if your mom is as beautiful as she is, or, half white and all of that kind of stuff. It's a Halle Berry kind of thing.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't have said that. Should cut that out. But
See,
it
it's
brings
true.
its own, issues,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
it. And you're trying to work your plan. Like, I want to be an executive at the post office.
Right.
So leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just let me do this thing that I do extremely well.
Yeah.
And speaking of your mom, this has nothing to do with black love. Your mom was the first one that ever told us about email. We had never heard of email.
That's right.
And she's I don't want to call her a techie, but man, she's so, like, she sent us the thing the other day. She just learned how to do a photo collage, and she's 80.
She's 84.
84.
Yeah.
But she has always been sort
She's
of
on
the
her-
vanguard.
On her iPhone, she knows how to do all that stuff.
Yep. She's a texter, but she was the very first person that told us about email. We're like, email? What is that?
Yeah.
And this was way back in the 90s. And of
Yeah.
course they had been emailing before, but only businesses,
Yeah, yeah.
And the computers were a great big room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one on my wrist, which is kind of
Which
frightening.
is more powerful than some of the big ones.
I know, anyway.
Well, so we ended up talking about, my folks. Your mom passed away on Halloween 3.
In 19.
Yep,
Is that 3 years ago?
2019. And man, my mom and stepdad are still doing it. He's a member of the Tuskegee Airmen, and my mom has so many accolades on
She
her
plays
wall.
bridge.
And so to reflect, any praise that we might get for like y'all still or whatever,
Yeah.
it's nice to talk about them and celebrate them. So celebrating Helen and Orma Rogers in Kansas City. Our example of black love and just how special it is to be in a family. And by the way, whatever your family, what that means to you, family, when it comes to, folks who are related to you, quote unquote, or the ones who don't, but they are the family that God has sent you. Man, this is a time for us to reach out and cling to that family. Good friends, just folks you can depend on. And you can dump, catharsis, etc. So thank you, baby. For sharing.
You're welcome.
I love you. I'm
Love
gonna
you
get
too.
a kiss. I'm warning you now.